Hey everybody, Tony here with Nothing But Car Reviews again, and today we're taking a look at a 2022 GMC Yukon in the SLE trim level. So this is going to be your base model. You have your cloth seats, but let's go ahead and get into it. So to start out with, this one does come in satin steel metallic, which is a pretty popular color for the Yukons. And then the interior consists of the dark walnut slate cloth, but we'll take a look at that here in a moment. And of course, this being an SLE, we get the smaller 18-inch wheels. But as we get around to the back end, we still have the really nice LED tail lights there. And then I'm just gonna pop this trunk. And with this one being an SLE, we do have the manual hatch there. But I think you can opt in for a power one with the convenience package. But we can of course fold the seats flat, third row. And then we can pull them back up. And then we have a 3-prong 120 volt household plug-in there. Let's close that up. Just gonna take a quick look at the fuel filler here. And we get passive keyless entry on all 4 doors. And when the black assist steps are cleaned up, they do look really nice, even though those are the base ones. Well, let's just zoom in on these 18s real quick. And with the bigger, beefier tires, you do have a much better ride there. But coming around to the front end here, we still have our LED daytime running lights, LED headlamps, along with LED fog lights. And then we have our front parking sensors there as well. And then I'm just gonna pop the hood and we'll show you this 5.3 liter naturally aspirated V8 here, which I think is rated at like 355 horsepower, mostly covered up. But next, I'm gonna go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So here in the driver's seat, I have plenty of headroom, probably for 3, 4, 5 inches, and just really comfortable seating position. Of course, this is a large SUV, so I have plenty of space throughout, legs, arms, shoulders, everything. So very impressive there. But over to the door panel, we do get our power door lock switches there, power windows. We can lock the windows, and then we also have our power mirror controls there. And then plenty of storage pockets, one here, big one there, and a cup holder there. And then over here to the left side, we have our electronic parking brake. We can toggle our lane departure, parking sensors, auto stop, and then we have our headlamp controls, and then our drive modes here, so we can go between normal, sport, snow and ice, and then our tow haul mode. Into the steering wheel, we have our cruise controls here, and then we can adjust our forward collision gap adjust there, and then we have our voice recognition Bluetooth controls here, and then we can actually go through our gauge cluster there using this. So let's zoom in on that gauge cluster. We do have an all digital gauge cluster, so let me just show you the info screen here. Tire pressure sensors, fuel economy, driver assistance, oil life, brake pad life, air filter life. There's just plenty you can look at. And then we can even change the display layout and all of that. And I really like the leather wrap steering wheel. Feels really nice. Nice and luxurious even in this SLE model. But we have volume controls behind the steering wheel on the right side, and we have trackless radio station controls behind the steering wheel on the left side. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the radio. So up front, we do have these, I think they're 8-way power seats. So you have your power seat bottom, seat back, and then your lumbar support. And I like that you get that even with these cloth seats in the SLE model. But to the radio here, we do have a 10.2-inch screen here with Google compatibility. That allows you to get that wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well. But we get AM, FM, and XM along with Bluetooth, Google News, and podcasts. And then our Google Maps here, we have it in demo mode, so we have to set up a few things before we can get the map going. But that's kind of what you'll have to look at there. So I can get that ready. Okay, so that's the map there, and I like how easy it is to use. You can just kind of zoom in like that, like you would on your phone, or you can zoom in and out using these arrows. You have traffic patterns. So really, really easy to use and very responsive screen. I love that because it's a lot better than the old navigation screens. And then we have our trailer light test if you have something hooked up there. There's our backup camera, and as I turn the steering wheel, the guidelines change with me. But onto the HVAC controls. We do have dual zone automatic climate up front, and then we have rear AC controls as well. So we can adjust that here, set the auto mode, and then change the fan speed. And then we can sync them as well. And we can toggle whether or not we want the rear AC on or whether we want them to be able to set the climate in the back. But then we also have a home button here, trackless or seek buttons here. So if you don't want to use a touchscreen, you also have your volume and then your controls here for the radio. But down here we have a USB-C, USB-A input, a 12 volt, cup holders here. There's the key fob. We have remote start as well. And then on in here to the center console cubby space, we have a nice removable tray, but plenty of space in there. And then two more USB ports, the USB-C and the USB-A. But we also have remote start here. Let's see if we can get in there. Or push button start, I'm sorry. But next, let's go ahead and take a look at the back seat room. So back here in the second row, we have a bench seat here. So this is an 8-passenger setup for the Yukon SLE, but plenty of headroom back here as well. And then I'm even sitting behind the seat in front of me for someone of my size, 6'3", and then my knees are just barely scraping the back of this, but just really, really comfortable. I could fit my feet underneath the seat. Really nice there. And then I'm gonna even show the third row. We can slide this up, fold that down, and then we can just hop in here. And then I can even pull this seat up, and I can still sit back here if I want to. So just crazy, you can fit full-size adults in all 3 rows in this vehicle. And then I have 2 USB-C ports, one on each side to charge phones or whatever. And then it's really easy to pull that there, even from the third row, and then hop out. But before we go and do the test drive, let's just take a look at this rear AC control here. So we have tri-zone automatic climate controls all together with the front and then the back here. We can set the auto mode, set that temperature there, change the mode if you want it on your feet, or if you want it up top, because we do have vents in the ceiling as well. And we have 2 USB-C charging ports there, and then a 3-prong household plug-in down there. And then one more thing, that's where those vents are there. So all in all, very, very impressive, even in this base model Yukon SLE. But next, we're going to go ahead and take it on the road for a quick test drive. There's our auto stop that just came on. We'll give it a little throttle out this corner here. This 5.3 is just very, very capable. Of course, it's no 6.2, but if you don't drive the 6.2, you're not going to miss the 6.2 in terms of power, because this 5.3 does get up and go. And this, of course, is in normal mode. I'm going to put it in the sport. And the shifts are still very smooth, very crisp, no clunking like you would expect in a lot of your sport modes. That's what you get. I'm going to put it back into normal mode. And we're getting right at 22 miles a gallon on the interstate here, which is what it's rated for. But this ride is just very, very, very smooth. And these 18s really do make quite the difference as opposed to getting the 22s on, let's say, a Denali. But the 22s do look a lot better, so I would prefer, if everything else was equal, to have the 22s, because the ride quality is not that bad. But these 18s, they just really help you float down the road. This is how I feel the Cadillac should ride. You have to put your foot down just a tad to brake, but that's all right. I kind of like it. I really like how the hood is sloped down, so it makes it a lot easier to drive a vehicle this big. And with this being a base model, you still get a pretty good amount of features. You have the Google compatible radio, so you have the navigation there, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, XM, Bluetooth, podcast, and you still have the leather wrapped steering wheel. And these seats, even though they're cloth, they are still very adjustable and very comfortable. And I like that this one still has your lane departure and your forward collision alert. And for those who don't like the auto stop, of course you can toggle that here. But I like having it on a vehicle this thirsty, especially with gas being $4.50 a gallon. And I don't think I touched on the shifter, but if you need to shift, you press P for park there, pull up here for reverse, press N for neutral, pull up for drive, then you press L for low mode. And then you can shift the 10-speed manually. And it's actually very responsive. And then you could just pull drive again to go back to auto mode. But very quiet in here, especially going down this road. And of course your road noise is going to be more minimal because you have the bigger tires with the smaller wheels. But this will bring me to the end of my review of the 22 Yukon SLE. And next we're just gonna have our closing remarks and take a look at the window sticker. All right, so I want to give a huge shout out to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They usually have a lot more cars than this, but of course because of the chip shortage, we're working with what we have. But with that being said, really impressed with this Yukon. But let me just go ahead and show you all kind of what the window sticker looking like. So we have a sticker price of $54,590, which is actually pretty good. But we get all of our standard features here. So if y'all want to pause the video and just take a look at that, you actually get quite a bit. I do think that this is a very good option in terms of an SUV, just because it has everything you need without all the fancy extras, and then you can still tow with it, you can still haul quite a bit with it, and it's just very, very usable. And the gas mileage actually is not that bad. So I want to thank you all again for checking out my video, and make sure you like, subscribe, comment below, and we'll see y'all next time at Nothing But Car Reviews.